What's up, Lisbeth? What's up, the Art and Soul Shop? All right, I'm doing another AMA. The AMA stands for Ask Me Anything. So what I've sort of decided for the format of these things is, one, go live on as many platforms as possible. Two, put out the AMA, meaning you can ask me any question about what we do at Art Storefronts, any question about art marketing, any question about why my child is about to break into my room. It's because he's sick and home today. But I wanted to sort of start off, and if you're watching on Instagram, all you have to do is leave a comment, and I'll pin it, and I'll answer it. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, just type in a comment if you've got one about anything, and I'll listen to it, or I'll answer it rather. But I wanted to start off with, a story, right? A story, and you can see the title of this thing is More Live Art Shows, and obviously I've been banging the drum about live art shows quite a bit recently, and one of the really interesting ways to think about it, and I'll tell you an interesting way to think about it, and I'm going to pivot into some of the fundamentals of them. But what if your art and photography business was actually a retail store and you didn't know it? It's actually a retail store. And whether or not, and it's a retail store in the mall, let's just say. And if you had a retail art or photography store that sold your art or photography, gallery style relationship in a mall, what happens in a mall is randomly people are walking through the mall to get whatever they're going to get, and they're on their way to their destination, and they see your store and they pop into it, right? Now, in order for that to happen, the front door of your store obviously needs to be open and you need to be in there, okay? But the idea is that you're paying that rent in the mall not only to have a place of business that you can invite people to come, but you're also paying that rent in the mall for people, when they are there, to be able to catch their attention, get them in, and generate sales. The live broadcast is no different than having the retail store open or having it closed, okay? And serendipity happens when the doors are open. Serendipity happens when the store is actually open. And when you do these live broadcasts, and whether it's a live art show, whether you're talking about your process, or whether you're doing an AMA, or whether you're interviewing a collector, or whatever you're doing, they are no different than your store in the mall being open. You have this opportunity to open your doors to your store and capture the serendipity of people just being online. And you never know who's going to be walking through at that particular point in time. And it really just kind of comes down to this whole live thing in a bucket. Like, if it is your store, how often can you keep the doors open? How often can you keep the doors open to the store? Because you never know when that particular person is going to be walking through. And as I continue to ship more and more of these, and as I continue to say, like, how often do you see us live? More and more and more and more, right? This is live on Instagram. This is live on Facebook. This is live on YouTube. It's live on Twitter. We're adding Twitch later the week. It's just so the retail store is open. It's just so you guys that are out there, customers and non-customers included, you can walk into the Art Storefront store and learn a little bit more about what we do, potentially ask a question, all of the above. And this really sort of hit me too over the course of the weekend, okay? And I was in Denver. A buddy of mine is getting married, so we had a bachelor party, and we walked up to this, like, craft cocktail, fancy ice cube, whatever place. I don't really like cocktails, but my friends wanted to go there, and there was like a 45-minute wait. So we're like, all right, put our name down on the list. And across the street was some other restaurant bar, and we walked in there, okay? And Robin, I see your question. I'll answer it in a second. And what ends up happening is, in between the cocktail bar that we're waiting for and the other bar, the restaurant thing that we walked into, was like a trailer. Not a trailer, like on the container ships, when they ship a container, it was a container. Sometimes you see them on the semi trucks, and it was all painted up on the outside, and it was actually a store, and there was an artist inside the store. And I was like, you know what? This is interesting. I haven't really been traveling all that much, right, because of COVID and the like. And so I haven't really been popping in on random artists that have retail shops. But there's an artist in there, and, he was attempting to sell his stuff. And I sat there and I was like, I might have been a little bit three sheets to the wind, full disclaimer. But I walked in and I was like, this guy's cool. I'm going to get him to run a live art show right now on the spot. And I walked in and I met this artist, named Mike Graves, and he's in there and he's drinking a beer and he just finished up with somebody. And I was introduced myself, explained what I did. And I was like, have you ever run a live art show? And he's like, no, I've never run one. And I was like, well, let's fix that, right? Let's go and run one right now, today, and see what happens. And shout out to Mike for having the temerity. This guy was so cool. But I'm gonna go ahead and play it in the background. You can kind of see it was just pouring rain outside in Denver, but you can see this little container. This guy Mike is super talented artist. And if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, you're actually seeing the actual video playing. If you're on Instagram, all you have to do is go to our Instagram stories. It's in there, or you can go to the IGTV tab and you can watch it after the fact. But I turned the camera on. I was like, pick 5 pieces and let's just have a flash sale. And I did it on the Art Storefronts account. I probably should have done it on his account in hindsight, but it happened, right? Mike had this retail space that he was paying for, and he was in there waiting for people to pop in, and no one was popping in. And so what did he do? Ran a live art show, came totally out of his comfort zone. And the results were pretty good for spur of the moment. For like first time ever happening, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I was totally blown away. And again, this guy was super talented. He should be running them all the time. He's got a beautiful retail space with his art over the walls where he can do it. And as I looked at his Instagram after the fact, he's got 5,900 followers, right? You can check him out. This guy's amazingly talented graffiti artist. And then he's got some killer pieces that he isolates out of his graffiti work and puts on the wall. So amazingly talented guy. Huge shout out to Mike. I really encourage you to go and watch it. And it makes me realize that I need to go and get like the Art Storefronts RV and jump in it and just find every single solitary local artist anywhere and be like, yo, we're doing this right now. What do you think? Let's get busy. And Robin, again, I'm going to get to your question in just 1 second. You know what, Robin, I'll ask your question right now. Robin's asking, do you need to have sold artwork prior to signing up with you? No, you don't necessarily need to have sold artwork prior to signing up for us, Robin. But the thing is that you do have to sell your artwork to people not named mother, brother, sister, family, friends first. And the reason being, you'll never know if it'll sell. So if you've not tried to sell it anywhere, I think you should try to sell it. You know, if you listen to our podcast at all, Robin, there's a ton of advice on how to get started and how to do that. So that's what I would say. But keep following us and you'll continue to get more and more, you know, great tips, techniques, tricks, i.e. how to run a live art show in which you can try to do it today, Robin, just like I ambushed Mike. But what you, excuse me, what you realize when you start running these live art shows is that how are you going to take payment? Where is all the art going to be housed? Because you're doing a live broadcast, you're holding these things up, you're talking about them, and you need to send somebody to a link somewhere such that they can potentially purchase and download the things, right? And so we've created, and again, on Instagram, you won't see this, but on the rest of the platforms, you will. We've created a brand new page, and I've designed this thing by scratch myself, which is awesome. And you can see there's no header on here. There's no menu. All this is a selling opportunity. There is the photographer, in this case, his logo. There is the title of the sale. There is a place to embed the video, okay, that was the show that he ran and is now over. And there is a grid of all of the images that were in the show. And there is the title, the name, the price, and it is so easy to create these pages. And you actually have a destination where all of the art that's going to be in your live art show is hanging and is ready to go. And it's really, really cool. If you click buy now and you check out, there's a super simple checkout process on the right-hand side. Boom, credit card, all your information, pay now. And then the minute you do that, the piece moves to sold. And I totally recommend you check out this guy's show. He's got the same last name as me, so I call him cousin, despite the fact we're not related. But his name's Rob Shanahan, super talented rock photographer, and just really, really good live art show for a first time out. And, you know, his fans, his followers were super fired up about it. He just did a great job. So huge shout out to Rob. I wanted to show that off a little bit because I think he just did a great job. So, okay, for those just tuning in, I ranted a little bit about art shows. I'm now opening it up for questions, AMAs, and I've got one here on Instagram. Kiro, I think, Kiro Wan Young. And she says, or he says, I can't see the avatar, so small. I don't have a bunch of inventory at the moment, so haven't done in-person shows or live art shows on Instagram. We need to make that investment in getting a ton of analog inventory, right? Yeah, you need to make the investment, but let me tell you how small the investment is, okay? And oh, name's pronounced K. Thank you for that, K. And let me just get my little stack here, and I will show everybody. Okay, so on my lap, I have a stack of inventory, K. And let me tell you what the total investment was for this stack of inventory, $100. Okay, do you see how small the pieces are as I hold them up? Hey, here's a wood print. It comes on maple. It has a back to it. All you really need to be able to show in the show, okay, is what the finished substrates are. And then you can show 2D images. So all you have to do is get 5 of these things, cost like $150. You're able to show acrylic, okay? You're able to show metal, and the fact that it's easy to hang. And do you notice the size of these, K? They're tiny for a reason, because big pieces are really hard to show on Facebook and Instagram, okay? So you have these little tiny ones, and you have a canvas gallery wrap, right? And you can show that it's ready to hang, it's ready to go. And all you have to do is order these 5 things. Here's a paper print. It's framed. And then you talk about the 2D image, you show the 2D image on however you would do that. On Instagram, you can literally, like on Instagram, you can put all the images in your phone and have them, and then just say, this particular image is available as a paper print. This particular image is available as a canvas print. This particular image is available as a metal print. Metal is one of my favorites. And you zoom in, you show the detail, you zoom in, show the detail. Okay, it's that easy. The big investment, there is no big investment. $150 and you're good to go. You get the 5 media types: paper, metal, canvas, acrylic, and I like wood too. Wood sells. And you just say, this is what I have available. This is what I have available. Boom. Yeah, exactly. Okay, you don't have to wait even a minute. You are ready to go, ready to start running these things right now. This is the whole point of like the live art show concept that I realize I have to do, that we as Art Storefronts have to do as a business, is continue to demystify how easy it is, right? I get that everyone is terrified, okay, of being on camera. I hate being on camera. I hate it. But I'm contrarian enough in my head to know it is one of the most effective marketing techniques that an artist or photographer can leverage today. And I know that because it's the same for us as Art Storefronts. Like, Kay, you and I wouldn't be having this conversation if I wasn't live right now. You wouldn't be getting this direct advice if I wasn't live right now. I hate being live, but I understand how effective it is. And so what I want you to talk about is, you don't need to overthink this. You don't need to stress about this. If you don't have the inventory and you're a photographer, it's almost easier to do, because you can get these prints. You can have them be tiny. You can spend $150 and you're good to go. Okay, PyCon Galleries is asking me about the new landing page. So yeah, I was showing it off, the new landing page, on Facebook, and so you can't really see it on Instagram, but I'll explain it to you. As my child bust in here. Son, I'm working. Can you go watch your tablet, please? Terrible parent of the year. All right. So yeah, so Pecan Gallery is asking about the live art show page. Okay. And you know, we've run, and like myself, my team, hundreds of these things now. And if you do that, you realize, okay, let's just say you're running a live art show without it. So you run the live art show and you go through the pieces and somebody wants it. And so how do you respond to those? Well, you send me a DM on Instagram, right? Leave me a comment on Facebook and I'll follow up later. Send me an email. If you've got my phone number, text message me. You can totally do that. And if the alternative is to not run one, period, or to run one, I want you to run one. Okay, do that. Don't worry about having it all up on a web page. But once you start getting more sophisticated, you realize like all you're asking people to do by introducing all that friction is not by, oh, I'll contact you after the show. Oh, we'll set up PayPal. We'll set up Venmo. Like, you want to be able to run as many of these things as possible. Flash sales, live art shows that are themed, introducing new work, clearing out old inventory, whatever it is, moving sale, right? And so the page that I built, this is how rad this thing is. You literally grab all of your images all at once, a folder, you drop it on one little upload. It instantaneously populates a grid. Okay. Beautiful mobile responsive page, everything else. There is no header. There is nowhere to click on this thing except buying the art. Okay. This is all by design. I got to get my fat head out of here on Facebook. And all you have to do is title every image, price it. You don't even have to do anything else if you don't want to. We recommend title, price, size, and then a description, and then the ability to buy now. And the dirty little secret that no one will tell you, except me because I've run hundreds of these, is the live art show is the tiniest part about it. It's about how you hype it ahead of time, and then it's how you hype it after the fact. And if you don't have the web page with all the images on it, it becomes even more difficult to hype it after the fact. And then also, too, what happens, especially when you start getting momentum, is two people want the piece at the same time. Well, guess what? Whoever buys it first, it's got to move to sold right away. Otherwise, you're going to have some angry people. So that's what I would say. This new page is absolutely awesome. Pecan Gallery, if you're just look at it on, you know what? I'll figure out a way to send the page to you. Send me a DM and I'll send it to you. If you're a customer already, it's in beta and we're about to turn them on. Pecan Gallery, tell me if you're a customer already. Okay. I've got my next question. Victoria Williams Art. I decided to sell originals, the photos of my art that I took with my iPhone. I'm not sure if it's good enough resolution. It is not the best way to do it, Victoria Williams Art, but you can get started, right? Like if you end up printing with us, our system will tell you exactly how big you can go based on the iPhone photos. But that's okay to start out with. Like it's just going to be a much smaller looking print, but it still should be fine. We've got a really good article. Victoria Williams Art, if you send me a DM, I'll send it to you. Just send a DM on Instagram right now and say, hey, will you send me the article on how to photograph my work? And I'll send it to you. And you can use it. So that's what I would say. Yeah. All right. AMA, any questions? Yeah, Catherine's saying for the live art show pages. So these things, I'm pretty sure they're going to be live for everybody. I mean, we're just ironing out the last kinks. So that's what I would say. Yeah, it's already awesome, Catherine, already working. So for the live art shows, should you limit the inventory, allow people to buy prints? There's no Victoria DM is a direct message. You just go to Instagram and then you message the page. There's no rules. There are no rules. And this person, I can't address you by name because you're in our Facebook group. I know you're a customer. I can just see that you left a question. So there's no rules. You can do prints. You can limit the prints, not limit the prints. You can keep it open. There's no rhyme or reason to how it goes. You can do whatever the heck you want, which is absolutely amazing. I do like, though, limiting it. I do like, having the scarcity, and you can do that a whole bunch of different ways. But we've got fantastic information for you on our playbooks, how this whole thing goes and what it looks like. So that's what I would say. And these pages are going to be a game changer. And I'm just going to keep iterating and iterating and iterating. Like I found out yesterday that okay, if you're running the show and somebody sends you a text message and they're a collector and they're like, yo, I'll take number 27. Well, that's a collector. That's somebody you already have a relationship with. Already that they're good for it. So why wouldn't you just instantaneously toggle the thing to sold? So I've got to add that feature in. And this is what differentiates us from everyone else at Art Storefronts. Like everyone else is still talking about selling directly from their website. We are 100 yards down the line on how to sell from live art shows because it is the future. And one big tease I've got is I'm about to launch a huge contest centered around live art shows. Hopefully I'm going to get that in the water by the end of the week. And so I'm going to keep banging the drum. And one of the amazing things that I'm going to do is, multiple times I've shown all of these various different live art shows that we've ran. What you haven't heard from are the actual artists that ran them. So I'm going to start bringing some of these folks on. I'm going to have them join the live broadcast. I'm going to have them explain how it was for them, their fears, their trepidations, how it went down, what type of an experience it was, and all of the above. So really excited to start doing that. And you're going to see more and more of that as time goes on. Victoria Williams, I see the request. I can't bring you into it because I've got too many broadcasts running at once, and only the Instagram people would be able to hear the two of us. So what else, guys? Any more questions before I wrap it up? As my kid, I can hear, is tearing my house to pieces because he's home sick. My wife just took the other one to school. First world problems over here, let me tell you. First world problems. But yeah, plan on seeing more and more and more about the live art show. If you missed the beginning of this broadcast, go back and watch it because I ambushed a guy in Denver, Colorado this morning to run a live art show, and he totally did it spur of the moment, not knowing who I was at all. And I thought it was just such a cool thing. It's just such a cool thing that shows what's possible with this new medium, with this new way of selling. And it quite literally, in terms of the 3 ways of selling art, indirect or directly with a person standing in front of you, amazing. Next best way, these live art shows. Next best way after that, on your website. And that's how it goes in order, right? Which is why we're going all in on these. We are going to be the single solitary best business for artists and photographers on the internet to selling live art via shows as anyone. Features, tactical, the education around it. And why? Because it's the most effective thing I've ever seen. It is the biggest advancement into how art and photography is sold I've seen in the last 50 years. And it's not even close. It's not even close. Victoria, if you're a customer, we run the marketing workshops twice a week. If you're not a customer, then I just recommend attending the art business workshops. Those are 3 days a week. You can check out the link in our bio and you can find out of them. The Art and Soul Shop, how often do I recommend running a live art show? You have to run thousands of them. That's what you need to have in your mind, that you need to run thousands of them. And if you need to run thousands of them, don't worry about how often. Start running them. Start running them. By which I mean the Art and Soul Shop, I want you to turn your camera, I want you to turn your cell phone on Instagram today and say, I am having a flash sale right now today on these 3 pieces. It ends at the end of the day. I normally sell it for $250. I'm willing to let it go right now for $125. Done. Run it today. Get the first one in the water today. No waiting. You don't need anything more than the cell phone, holding it, hold the piece, shoot the piece, talk about it, let them know they can send you a DM on Instagram, let them know you take Venmo, PayPal, COD, any of the above, and just go at it. Go at it. So that's what I would say. I'm just so fired up about this. And I realize, like, it's a scary thing for most people. Like, running a live art show is a terrifying thing for most people. And so my job is to demystify how difficult it is. It's not, and then give you little pokes and prods that you got to do this, right? Like, once you get one, you're like, oh, I've done one. That wasn't that difficult. I could do a bunch more of these, right? I could do a bunch more of these. It wasn't that difficult. And, here's where I screwed up and here's where I need to get a little bit better. And you start to relax. And then if you had a heart rate monitor on, you're going to be at like 175 beats a minute for the first one. And then by the time you've run the 5th one, you're going to be down at like 88 beats a minute. Like, nothing even bothers you. My kid comes busting in. I hear cantankerous dog barks out there. It doesn't even raise my heart rate anymore. I get a phone call on Instagram and the stream goes down for a second and I close the call out and get back on it. Or it tells me I have low internet connectivity. And so I turn off the Wi-Fi and like switch to 5G or whatever. So all of these things are the things that you learn when you start shipping these. My job is to just make you aware of them. Number 1, show you the results, which are insane. Number 2, and the final is get you running them. Because the more that I get you running them, if it's a customer, it's self-explanatory. You're going to be more successful. If you're not, you're going to be like, oh my God, this guy totally knows what he's talking about. Not only does he know what he's talking about, I know he knows 500 more things about running these things than I do. And you know what? Probably a good idea to join our Storefronts because I will just continue to keep learning. So that's what I would say. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in today. Anytime you see me doing one of these AMAs, by the way, so the AMA, the finger pointing, they're going to be streaming all the time on Facebook and YouTube. They're going to be streaming all the time on Instagram. Sometimes I'm running 3 of them a day. You can literally ask any marketing question that you have. Okay. I've been doing this for 7 years. I have 5,700 customers and I'm good at it. So anything that you're stuck on, I would love to reply directly. Yeah. Oh yeah. And the Art and Soul Shop. Thanks. I agree. We tend to overthink things and get paralyzed. 100%, 100%. Everyone does. That's why you just need the poking and prodding, right? Like, the Art and Soul Shop, we've had to go as far to start running them proactively for our customers. I'm not kidding. I've gone to 100 customers and said, you are running a live art show. I will help you set a date and everything else. Boom, we're going to start doing it. Right. And I know because it is 100% the teach a man to fish. You know, that parable, like give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, he can feed himself for a lifetime. That's what the live art shows are. If I can just get you guys to run them, your entire world will be opened up. And I realize you have to come out of your comfort zone. And I realize I'm not going to get it done in a day. So I got to continue banging the drum, which is what I'm going to continue to do until all of you run them. Until I want to see every single solitary time I open up Instagram or my Facebook, I want to be bombarded with nothing but art shows. And guess where that's going to put you if you start doing it? The top 1%, not even 1%, top 0.1% of artists and photographers that understand that this is the future of this business, full stop. You want to sell $10,000 worth of art between now and the end of the year? Great. You want to sell $10,000 worth of art between now and the end of the month? Start running live art shows. Start running live art shows right now. And it's only going to get more important as we move to Q4, the biggest art selling time of the entire year. And let me tell you, if you've not run any and all of a sudden Q4 is your first one, you're not going to be as successful as if you've already got 20 of them in the books. Okay. Even 5 in the books. I'll take 5. I'll take 2. So live art shows, guys, future of everything. If you see me on another one of these AMAs, any questions, Eddie, shout out to you, man. Great to see you as well. Great to see you as well, brother. That's what I got. Hope everyone has a fantastic day. If you see me on one of these things, come with your questions. I'm answering. Thanks and have a great day.